полчаса. Είπες πως το αύριο είναι ακόμα μακριά και τότε είδα τα μάτια σου. Πήραν το χρώμα της θάλασσας. Αν είναι όνειρο, μην με ξυπνήσεις.
Удобно на iPad делать выбор. Удобно.
Какие варианты здесь? Горячая штучка. Отлично.
То есть мы, допустим, можем сейчас выключить. Сейчас слышно вас. А назад?
Чтобы участники из Пакистана. Чтобы участники из Пакистана. У меня нет ни имени, ничего.
Тут всегда будет.
Я вообще по Пакистану не слышу. Вытянулся? Что страшного? Коллеги, здравствуйте.
Colleagues, good morning. My name is Prakharovich Andrei. I am the General Director of Energy Development. Despite the fact that I look like Russian, I am Russian citizen, but I lived in China 14 years, and I know the business in Asia, not just from somebody else, but we were working in both directions, but it's a different story. Let me start by this session, which is very important, by saying, which is regional cooperation in agriculture, by examples of SCO countries. In fact, I believe that we live in extremely interesting and fast-changing times. The technologies are implemented fast, and they change our way of life. Besides, we see great population growth. and the percentage of urbanization is increasing. More and more people live in cities, and they get more consumption, high quality products and commodities, and first of all, of farming and agriculture and foodstuffs. So this is one of the main points
Этой сессии вообще
of this session and of the problems of the whole world, which we have to solve. Therefore, one of the priorities, according to the strategy of SCO development 2025, is the development of agriculture. So special attention will be paid to the joint high-tech projects to produce and process farming products, introduction of innovative technologies in agriculture. And so the volumes of Russian production of farming, they allow us not to only satisfy the internal demand, but also to increase the potential, thereby making contribution to global safety. In conjunction with the SCO partners, we have positive dynamics. Over the past year, the trade turnover was several billion a year, and over the first half year is over $5 billion. Different countries have different structures of agriculture, which allows us to make mutually beneficial trade. And increase of the agricultural products trade is one of the directions of activity of SCO, which will contribute to reinforcement of food safety on all the SCO space. Apart from the global problems, I would like to go back to the lower level, as you have heard this thing globally act locally. So this is exactly why we're here, to talk about how we can regionally cooperate, complementing each other, implementing new instruments and tools, etc. So for that reason, to that end, we have wonderful speakers here who are representatives of the authorities, businesses, banking facilities from Russia, China, Pakistan, and Kyrgyzstan. Some of the speakers are online or offline, and some of the speakers are offline.
Давайте, наверное, начнем.
And let's start by a very important point, financial point. And I will pass the mic to the first speaker, Zemlyansky Georgy Georgievich, Director of the Financial Markets Transaction Support Department of Rossellkhozbank. Georgy Georgievich, the floor to you. I understand that you are talking about the bank as a system participant of financial and non-financial support for agriculture. It's very interesting. We're looking forward to you. Good morning, dear forum participants. Well, I'm glad to greet you on behalf of Rossellkhozbank. The subject of my speech is cooperation to increase the export of agricultural products. The subject of cooperation is important on the agenda of our bank. The cooperation and the interaction with the participants of the agricultural market allows us to create and implement system of measures aimed at support and increase of export of agricultural products. The clients of the bank are companies working at all stages of the supply chain of food products, agricultural products, from the production of material, deprocessing and distribution, and sale to the end product and to the end user, to end consumer, including abroad. The increase of the export cannot be realized without the complex approach to the support measures and cooperation among the participants of the export markets. Therefore, Rossellkhozbank is building partnership relationship, makes conditions and supports its clients, exporters at all stages, from the decision making about creation of and facility for export-oriented products, and to the exporting itself, and to revenue crediting to your accounts, to the client's accounts. At the level of decision-making, the bank is analyzing the values of the markets, the conjuncture of the markets and break-even structure. We are doing also the analysis, and the bank is helped by the partnership with analytical centers. And I would like to especially highlight the analytical center of agro-export, which over the time of its operation from the very onset has accumulated a great amount of information expertise about the international markets and the consumption of the products of the agricultural facilities industry abroad. So for successful realization of the export, we are relying on approaches and support of regional administration, and the support for specific projects is important. And what the region can help with, it could be infrastructure, it could be roads, it could be utilities, could be allocation of land, could be tax benefits. And on the stage of making solutions, the financing instruments are selected. And here, the cooperation with the institutes of support of export is playing a very important role. And the bank is participating in very known to you programs of Minselkos, Minister of Agriculture and Minprotorg. These are programs of the numbers that I have just said in Russian. So in August this year, a new program 1313 was ratified, and this is the program for support and subsidizing of lease organizations. And this program allows us to lower the capexes for creation and modernization of export-oriented production facilities. The program allows us to grant to the leasing companies a discount for the lease recipients for the equipment which is leased, on condition that this equipment is used for export-oriented production. The compensation to the leasing companies value is up to 45% in case, provided that the Russian origin of the equipment is confirmed, is provided, and up to 20% without this confirmation of origin. Thanks to the partnership between the bank and the Russian Export Center Group, XR, School of Export, RS, the clients can not only extend their expertise in aggregation of export and get the knowledge about international markets and combination of the export programs of the bank and the insurance programs, insurance products of XR, and now enable the exporters to make such a strategy which is aimed at extending geography of the export and providing its customers with more favorable and conducive conditions and lowering the financial risks. And in the framework of international cooperation, we are extending the network of foreign correspondent banks for seamless seamless remittances. And the SCO countries, we have partnership relations with the banks in China, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. And the customer of the bank exporting to SCO countries, for example, from Pakistan to China, for example, or Pakistan to Kazakhstan, can have the delayed payment, can offer delayed payment for the customers. And for the customers to have this, we have installed the limits for the trade financing operations with the banks. In closing, I would like to talk about the operation of the representative offices. We have 4 in SCO countries. We are in China and Kazakhstan. We are aiming at complex support for the foreign economic activity companies on the local markets, regular interaction with the authorities, with the business circles, with the expert authorities, with the expert. And one of the forms of organization of interaction with the bank and potential buyers is the business mission organized by the representative offices. And we believe that cooperation of the participants of the foreign market on the regional and on the national markets levels enables us to create conditions for development of export. Thank you for your attention.
Да, Георгий, большое спасибо.
Yes, Georgi, thank you very much.
Георгий, такой вопрос.
Georgi,
Кто
such a
ваш...
question. Who are your target audience? Is it our SME or big business? Well, our targets are customers, companies from farmers who produce are into the field operations up to the vertically integrated big farming holdings. Yes, thank you. Big business is know about your services, and thank you for presenting your products also for SME. Because I ran into situation that some banks, I'm not gonna name them, which are also in China, Russian banks, they do not know the Russian citizens working there or those who from other SEO countries working in China, they don't know about such services. So we need to do the outreach activities. It's very useful. Thank you. Yes, colleagues, I would like to talk to the speakers now, address the speakers now. We have maximum of 5 minutes for each address. So we have 10 speakers. So to keep the timing, this is the maximum. So I would also like to talk to the audience, and we're going to have questions and answers, not only from me. So we will allocate some time for you to be able to ask your questions of the speakers. So please prepare the questions in beforehand. And we go ahead. Let's check the online services. We have the next speaker present online. If everything is operating okay. Okay. Probably some problems with the connectivity. So while we are sorting that out, we go ahead. We go to Minister of Agriculture of Chelyabinsk region, Mr. Kapylin Alexey Vladimirovich. Please, as the representative of Chelyabinsk region, please tell us about your potential of the region and your offers for cooperation with manufacturers and producers. Good day, dear guests, dear colleagues. We are glad to greet you all, to welcome you all on the hospitable land of South Urals. Our today's panel session, our outbreak session, is dedicated to regional cooperation in agriculture. And I'm convinced that the industry of agriculture, with its multi-profile structure, is the very field where cooperation in the aftermath and also the cooperation in export will solve a lot of problems. The making and support for friendly relations between the countries and the regions and the partnership relations, then friendly relations will always induce the further cooperation and mutual supplies and exchange of experience and development of R&D in the agricultural complex. And each SEO nation has its own competences, unique competences and expertise and their own specifics in development, and they take up a serious position in the food market. And on the other hand, the success of SEO countries is directly related with the development of issues of agriculture. Chelyabinsk region, which in 2015 was the first to give initiative of the SEO regional heads, leaders, and now is taking the first place in the export of rural products, agricultural products. Last year, it was $180 million US dollars. And from the start of the realization of national project for exportation of agricultural products, the growth was about $72 million. And talking to my colleagues, I understand that this is a medium growth value, because all the efforts made by the authorities and businesses in developing these connections, these ties, are helping these increase. Chelyabinsk region is supplying to regional and regional markets of SEO. 80% of it, it's spaghetti products. Is the first place in the Russian Federation, and over 63% of poultry and sub-products, 23% of sausage products, 55% of confectionery products, 36% of flour, and 50%, about 50% of different corn, ground corn. And flour is the second place in Russia, and ground corn is the third. And other products are our main export potential, point of growth. And here we also have the products from the and the geography export is expanded. The main flow is to SCO countries: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, China, and Tajikistan, and other countries like Belarus, Germany, Mongolia, Azerbaijan, and Vietnam. In general, the region is trading with about 30 countries of the world. In 2020, the development of export was curbed by temporary limitations of different kinds, including pandemic. And by this, the agricultural growth was 33%. The export was induced by the higher demand from China, for example, for some kinds of products like dairy products, etc. And on the other hand, this diversification of processing towards the export-oriented production facilities. Only in 2020, we have increased the corn areas, crop areas for oil cultures from 200 to 300 hectares. And this year, one of the exporters has opened a new hub, a logistics hub, including a corn flakes facility of 150,000 tons per year, 5 billion rubles of investment, and other companies are investing 8 billion into production of flour, and this is McFarlane for meat processing. In 2021, the price-wise, the growth of crops is about 13%, the dairy products plus 38%, the processing product 67% growth, and other processing about 12%. Technically, the weight we have increased the by 25%. The dairy product, the food processing products is also not big, but this 3% cost us dearly. Also fish, this is the transit potential, which we are also using for expanding the export and trade turnover. We think we must continue with realization of investment project and the expansion of the cooperation in terms of SCO. The agriculture is one of the priorities here, and special attention will be paid to joint high-tech projects for production and processing of agricultural products. Main task is to increase the turnover and supplies between our country. To realize this goal, the Ministry of Agriculture of the region is offering and has the initiative to create at the level of regional ministries of SCO countries boards for the businesses and also cooperation programs on the basis of different agencies. This activity of these boards must be concentrated on solution of problems of cooperation in terms of supplies of various components. This subject is very interesting for SMEs because the high integration, big holdings, vertically integrated, they have the financial capabilities and competence to promote this to external markets on their own, which cannot be said about SMEs. And it is exactly here that the SMEs are expecting support from the authorities to create these cooperation networks. Regional coordination boards as community of producers and processors will unite the effort of SME producers and will allow us to create new forms of interaction, cooperation, and this will increase the general turnover. So the task of these cooperation centers will be forming the complex regional product for its further promotion to the external markets. We are all for this proposal, and we ask for your support in this proposal. Thank you. Alexei, thank you very much. Your region is demonstrating high results for experts, experts. I have a little question with you can just use words without. Have you increased the investments in the agricultural of the region? Pandemic, has it affected? No, I would say that it has not affected. For many, just the opposite. For many countries, it is an impetus, including for internal markets of Russia. Domestic market requires more products, so none of the investment projects of the region was not halted. On the contrary, more potential investors have come in, and we are looking forward to new projects. Are there international ones also from FTO countries? So far, we do not have international investors, but we are ready for cooperation. We have investment platforms which have enough capacity and logistics for creating various kinds of production facilities there. It will be interesting to see a presentation next time for this. Okay, we go further. Nagalin Vitaly Yurievich, do you hear us? Yes, colleague. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yeah, Vitaly Yurievich, let me just introduce you. He is the head of the development of industrial center for the export of the Russian Federation, of Ministry of Agriculture of Russian Federation. Thank you very much, colleagues, for your invitation, for this possibility to make a speech here. And thank you very much, colleagues, for the presentations. I will not be taking long with the introduction. The increase of export is an indispensable condition for sustainable development of agricultural complex. Well, I would like to, although it was promised 15 minutes, now I have 5, but it's okay for everybody else to have time. Let me show you the presentation, share the screen with you. Can you see my presentation? Yes. Yes, we have a very ambitious goal set before us to get 37 billion in exports by 2024. And not long ago, the government of the Russian Federation, the president, have made a decision, resolution to for 2030 to reach 47 billion by 2030, and it's very ambitious, and it all depends on the local activities and how regions can realize their export potential. And the agenda of today's event is aimed at discussion of this issue, of course, and regional cooperation is very important in this respect for development of investment potential of regions which have SCO boundaries, and this can qualitatively affect the reaching of these results. And this this tracking is important. And as regards the current situation, that year the exports figures show a positive growth. As of September, mid-September, it has increased by 80%, 18% versus past year period, similar period of past year, reaching and the positive dynamics in all product groups, especially the wheat and butters and oil and meat. The sunflower oil is showing good growth. Corn, barley, pork, beef and ice cream is growing. We have the high growth in all kinds of products, and most of the countries of partners have increased imports of their products, and the characteristic dynamics you have already mentioned for the SEO countries. I will not repeat the figures that you have mentioned. This year we're demonstrating not such a high growth as last year to the high base, but we have given a small this characteristic, and for Chelyabinsk we repeat this dynamics is characteristic, which is positive, and it's moving towards the increase of the export. So to uphold the positive dynamics and in reinforcement of our position on the international markets, we need to increase competitiveness and presence in these countries, and with the target indicators and the key regions of supplies. Of course, one of the key directions for us is the countries of SEO countries. And despite the diversification of exports, the main industries accounting for growth are industries. It is obvious that development of exports cannot be done without increase of mass of commodities and increase of the supplies to both to local and external markets. But in order to ensure development, we must comply with the requirements which are set by the markets. Sometimes they are very rigid. So this task for us as exporters is to ensure compliance with these requirements. In order to get such a state of competences and knowledge as to make our products competitive in the foreign markets and to be stable that way. The Federal Agro Center was created in 2019. Today we are an office of federal monitoring of the products exportation, and here we also monitoring cooperation with the regional authorities of agricultural complex, and we are monitoring the export potential of the subjects of the Russian Federation, of the regions. Vitaly Yurievich, excuse me, we only have 1 minute left. Only one. Okay, let me just wind up, try to wrap it. Of course, it is important for us to interact with the experts and the business community. In this respect, great attention we are paying to development of the measures of state support, governmental support. Today, I know the representative of the Ministry of Agriculture here, and they will be telling you about the tools. But also, apart from the support, what is important is the interaction with the international partners, business missions. We are paying attention to creating business mission. Apart from the state support, we rely on the system of knowledge and competences, and here we have a lot of good products and tools which are aimed at SEO countries cooperation. I will not dwell upon them in detail. I'm sure the presentation will be free to share, and all these products are on our website, can be downloaded without any problems. So just on the whole, what I would like to highlight again in closing, that, as I said, the expert agenda, which is set before us, is important, and here investment potential development is necessary, but in the first place, we should be equipped with knowledge and competence for efficient and stable development. I will not be taking more of your time. Thank you very much for having me. Good, successful work, fulfilling work to all of you. Vitaly, thank you very much. I have no questions for you because I am very much aware of what your organization is doing. I highly recommend operating with this organization, downloading information, because agro-expert work is very important, very efficient. Thank you very much. We're moving forward. Thank you, colleague. Head of the marketing department of Makfa company, one of the biggest suppliers of spaghetti items to China and SEO countries, Mr. Udodov. Mr. Udodov, we have only 5 minutes. I will try to be within 5 minutes. Good morning. This session, I am representing the business of Chelyabinsk region. And in short, I'll try to be brief, 5 minutes, try to cover the main points which we have attained working for expert. The turnover of our company is about 55% only in our
С 17 по 21 год мы
turnover.
более
From 18 to 21, we have increased almost twofold our trade over. Had it not been for pandemic, this figure would have been a lot more high. So this contribution to the SCO, we have made this contribution about 1 billion rubles. We are growing in all countries, but we're not there in Pakistan and Iran. But this is temporary. Markets are growing, developing. So I believe that soon we will be there also. I am the manager of the marketing department. I will dwell on the marketing tasks. In each country, we have our own distributor, big distributor. We have Institute of Territorial Managers, supervisors, and trade representatives. And we understand that if we are not on the shelves, we will never win the share of the market. We will never get to achieve the targets. And these are the real shelves in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. As you can see, we are very well represented. Next, we are trying to differentially approach each country, and we respect the gastronomic traditions of each country. Therefore, our spaghetti items, the formats are expanding. The Beshbarmak and Lagman are there in the market, have recently been launched, and we are renewing. We are refreshing our packaging, which is liked by our customers in Central Asian countries, and we have limited series for national holidays there. For example, for the flour, as you can see here, next important is the positioning, market positioning, which must be specific to a country, because you cannot generally position yourself for the entire world. Because if you know, you might have heard, we are macaroni #1 in Russia, which is supported by Nielsen Research, and our slogan is first for the first. And we do periodically regular research of markets, our competitors, our consumers, and Asian countries. We've come with different positioning. The macaroni of hard sorts of corn, hard sorts of wheat, and we speak the same language with our consumers. We have promotions of different kinds. Sweet happiness or tasty happiness in Kazakhstan. We had promotions with the cars prizes, and you see in the lower left corner the winner of this competition. And in the media, we are present there. As you can see, and we also have videos which correspond to the positioning strategy in this or that country. What is our achievement? This is the result of our total effort, combined effort. Knowledge in Kazakhstan, awareness of the consumers is, we are second place after Sultan, although Sultan is the local producer and Makfa is growing its volumes each year and increasing the customer loyalty. Next case is Uzbekistan. Here, Makfa is on the first place. We are ahead of all locals. Altindan, the local, and Rolton are behind it. Here, I must highlight that 99% is hard sorts of wheat. And in Uzbekistan, there are no wheat producers, so we are dominating there. China, about China, 2 words. Unfortunately, pandemic has made some corrections to our plans. We have had serious targets, and we had serious volumes of sales in 18, 19, and 20. We have been slackening our pace, but we hope that it is at least 500 million rubles, our trade turnover. Of course, there we have our own representative. We are planning to open up new representative office. This is in the point of sales, but flour is more in demand than macaroni. Classical macaroni are not so popular in China, but we are trying to popularize this product, and we hope to become the first brand which will bring these traditions to China. And of course,
Производители именно хлебобулочных изделий используют нашу муку.
manufacturers of bread products, pastry products are using our flour and they're happy with its quality. And our purpose, our target to become the goal to become the number one in Russia, and from have a growth of 1 billion to 3 billion rubles per year. Thank you very much, sir. So, little question. I see good sales. You're selling very well in the shelves and offline. But what are you using modern channel of promotion and sales? For example, e-commerce, new retail, these platforms. Yes, of course, we use these channels of promotion, especially actively in China, if we exclude Russia. But in China, we have our own distributors. We are through these distributors are present in the electronic platforms. It could be about 20% of sale. I think, according to May, is going to grow this percent because China retail, online retail is taking 35% total sales in the China, People's Republic of China, and the number of biggest consulting companies are forecasting that this will be over 52%. The online will take up over 52%. So we are in the trend, within the trend. Yes, I think it will also be extrapolated in all countries of SPO countries. Thank you very much. And on this good note, we are moving on to China.
The next speaker will be the head of the International Cooperation Department of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development of the People's Government of Chongqing City, Ms. Zhang Zhongping. Yes, I hear you very well. We are looking forward to listen to your presentation. Good day, dear colleagues and ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to take part in a panel session dedicated to regional cooperation in agriculture on the example of the regions of the SCO countries. Allow me to make a short presentation on behalf of the Agriculture and Rural Development Committee of the Chongqing City Government. Chongqing is pursuing a policy of structural reform of the agricultural supply, accelerating the integrated development of the primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors of the economy. Our metropolitan is making great efforts to scale, standardize, and brand the manufacturing of agricultural products, actively expanding e-commerce turnover and distribution channels. It seems that we have some problems with connection. In the course of implementing this ambitious strategy, we had to solve a number of tasks. Firstly, we have strengthened the work and pooling and integrating resources in the field of agriculture. Thanks to the functionality of the electronic trading platform, we have implemented a three-tier model. At the first level, the city platform plays a central role. At the second level, districts and countries collect data on agricultural products manufactured within a given administrative unit and information or distribution channels. Further, we established contacts in a centralized manner with well-known city and even national electronic trading platforms. All this makes it possible to combine trade, logistics, financial, and information flows, and ultimately stimulate the integrated sale of agricultural products throughout the city. Secondly, we have created opportunities for the successful passage of agricultural products on the way to the buyer, the so-called first mile. For this way, it is necessary to inform villagers and households, as well as to make advantage of the Federal Information Portal to collect data on products produced in the countryside. We collected information about local agricultural products, arranged primary sorting, grading, packaging, and cooling. This made it possible to supply standardized agricultural products ready for sale to vegetable depots, as well as distribution and transport transshipment centers. Thirdly, We also create the special system to successfully supply the product to the market. In comparison to the 2019, the growth was 21%. Regarding the improvement of the quality of development of the agricultural sector, efficiency and competition, the answer should be sought in scientific knowledge. At the current stage, we put at the forefront the use of the results of the development of new technologies. Scientific and technological progress serves the purpose of improving the quality and efficiency of the agricultural sector, creates a solid foundation for the comprehensive modernization of agriculture and rural areas. On the path of modernization, we firstly stimulate technological innovation. We implement technological innovations in such areas as industrial seed production, the development of agricultural machinery for work in mountainous areas, the mechanization of arable land, field irrigation, processing and value-added agricultural products, quality safety of agricultural products, branding, environmentally friendly and efficient planting, resource efficiency, sustainable agriculture, and knowledge and data-driven agriculture. We are currently developing the world's largest bank of silkworm genetic material, a virus-free system for breeding seedling of the highest grades of citrus fruits, a platform for growing sterile pork, breeding pigs with humanized antibodies, as well as projects to create biologically active medical materials based on raw silk threads. We are at the forefront of scientific thought in this research. Secondly, we focus on building innovative platforms. We are actively developing a matrix of innovative agricultural, scientific, and technical platforms. In this regard, as an example, we can use the experience of creating exemplary industrial zones as Science City. This is a state innovation center for the development of pig breeding technologies. The Livestock and Poultry Gene Pool, the National Livestock Science Center. In the regions of the upper reaches of the Yangtze River, scientific units for the study of germplasms have been created. An innovation center for artificial intelligence technologies has been built for the needs of the agricultural western regions of the country. We are also developing a scientific and technological innovation platform for the comprehensive agricultural modernization of Chengdu and Chongqing agglomerations. In addition, specific platforms for scientific and technological innovation in mining agriculture are currently being developed at the city and county level. Thirdly, we are actively improving the innovation system. In this area, work is actively underway to create a system of scientific and technical innovations in the field of agriculture, within which the emphasis is on stimulating scientific research by the state and business. The government accumulates research potential, forms expert advisory committees, and creates special communities to promote scientific and technological innovations in the field of agriculture. Business, on the other hand, is a benchmark enterprise that is designed to accelerate the transformation process of the agricultural industry, as well as to strengthen the role of enterprises as a subject of innovative activity. Science refers to the role of universities in enhancing the training of new talents and the arrangement of relevant research. In terms of research, it is necessary to deepen structural reforms in relation to agricultural research institutions in this area in order to develop a new type of research organization. In addition, there are plans to build a strong technology diffusion system in the agricultural sector aimed at accelerating the application of research results. Fourth, we are interested in promoting open collaboration. We are ready to actively participate in agricultural cooperation within SCO. Examples of such cooperation include the export to ASEAN of high-quality hybrid rice seeds in the amount of 100,000 kilograms. Strategic cooperation with the Russian Federation to create a center for scientific research in the field of animal genome editing and biomaterials. Thank you for your attention. Ms. Zheng Chung, thank you very much for such an interesting presentation. I don't have any questions. If you have any questions, please, you're welcome. So the innovations is very important, this is true. And China is creating the innovative technologies in the sphere of agriculture. And what is, we have in China, the drones that help the local farmers. It's not a surprise for anyone that autonomous companies have no people and only machine. Artificial intelligence controls everything. It is in automated mode of work. So, and this affects the efficiency. These technologies are superb, and we should think about the cooperation. All the SEO countries should think about implementing these technologies in all the spheres, and the SEO countries could compete with Western countries. Thank you very much. We are pass over to the second speaker. It's an online speaker. It's a deputy head of the Department of Agriculture and Village of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region of the People's Republic of China. Wang Chengguang.
尊敬的各位代表、各位嘉宾、女士们、先生
Dear
们、
colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, friends,
上海合作组织成员国域内农业
I'm sincerely happy to participate in today's forum, which is dedicated to the issues of agriculture.
向莅临会议的
On behalf of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development of
新疆位于中国西北边
Uyghur Autonomous Region, I would like to welcome all of you here.
是中国
It is located in the
毗邻国家
eastern part of
也是
China.
中国
It is one of the greatest provinces of China in terms of territory.
陆路通道，
It is a transport corridor
开放的
from Central Asia to South Asia and Europe.
农业是
It is an important window through
丰
which
富的水土光热资源和天然
it's a window of openness to the Western territories. We have a huge potential.
定了良好基础，
We take care of the soil and ecology.
坚持稳
So that's why we have the basis for the development of agriculture in a consistent manner.
和为主线，以
In accordance with the policy of reaching the progress and stability and sustainable development,
强化政策
we have the suggestions, the proposals in the agriculture that we are implementing.
初步形成
Agriculture is a striving force.
畜牧
Thanks to the reforms of openness, we continue to perfect
2020年新疆
the strategy and the cooperation with other countries in the sphere of cattle and poultry raising.
肉
Our export increases. In 2020, the
10%
total turnout was the 500,
棉花总产
about 500 tons of
商品交易 连续
products of meat and dairy products. The
和农作物
production increased
绿
for
色食品
28%. The amount of production
1117个
of land over the 27 last years occupies one of the leading places in China.
总量的
We have
产量居
one of the first places. We have 22 different kinds of crops,
1/6
organic products, 83 products of geographic names. We provide for 90% of national processing of products.
中亚
It's the first place in Asia in production of wine. We provide for 1/6 of the consumption of
中
wine.
国与上海合作
And we produce goji berries.
合作的中
We
亚
also have the fruit trees, and we export them to the other countries of the region.
贸易伙伴
We cooperate with the SEO countries.
吉尔吉斯斯坦是新疆
We export to Kazakhstan, to Russia, to Kyrgyzstan.
哈萨克斯坦乌兹别克斯坦俄罗
These
斯
are the target directions of the export, which were beneficial for us over the last few years.
进口国在农产品
Kyrgyzstan,
不但是
Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan
新疆与各成员国
occupy
粮食安全农业
the
投
top
资
5 places among 10 countries where we import the agricultural products.
区域合作
On the basis of the deepening the trade of agricultural
农
products,
业合作实验区
XUAR is actively
建设和培育
participating in cooperation with SEO countries in terms of
农业合作
safety,
和交流
agricultural security, and in the sphere of we have created an experimental zone of agriculture using the innovative technologies. We have also created a center of expert processing of agricultural products. And we cooperate with the appropriate SEO countries. Over the last 20 years in SEO space, we have been deepening our cooperation. We like to create a new mechanism of governmental policy to create a multilateral trade policy that could help us to improve the quality of trade of agricultural products in order for us to be able to facilitate the customs formalities and to get the mutually beneficial. So we are for the production of very high qualitative products using the special machinery. We are for creating the capacity building of highly qualified personnel in the sphere of agriculture. And the third is stimulating the trade of agricultural products. We should implement mutually helpful strategies in the SEO space. On the whole, it will promote the improvement of cooperation in the sphere of agriculture on this SEO space, and then the usage of new technologies in the sphere of agriculture. Maybe we should think about the creation of a unified information source that promote the strength of the trade policy. The president of People's Republic of China expressed the initiative to use in SEO space in following the Shanghai spirit to have one strategy with the help of which we will have joint efforts in getting the really successful results and to succeed finally in cooperation with SEO countries. Thank you very much for your attention. Mr. Wang Chenghuang, thank you very much. We pass over further to the representative of the Russian Federation, in particular to the Minister of Agriculture and Food Products of Omsk region, Drova Nikolai Valentinovich. So I give the floor to you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I would like, I will take into account all the comments of the moderator and I will try to be brief. So agriculture is one of the important sectors of our region. It influences the social and economic development of our region. If we speak about the priorities of our region, then together with the developed agriculture, the main sectors are the food processing sector, which gives us an opportunity to be in the center of our country and having the connections with the south, the southeast. We have some advantages and of course some difficulties that we have already spoken about today. We have about 100,000 kilometers of borders with Kazakhstan and we border with 45 countries of the Near East and Far East. And we are part of the regional program of export, and of course it is to increase the export share of the region. Today, within the framework of SEO, we have increased the export by 32%, and the total turnover of export to SEO countries more than $170 million, which is a huge part of and then the trend and the dynamics in SEO export is increasing every day. It's also the processing industry. It gives us an opportunity to increase the area for crops. over this year, we increased by 120 hectares the territory for 32 oil products. And of course, the crops, then the total amount of land is 200 million for the crops. For that, we created the electronic trading platform and the catalog that you can use, and our colleagues can address it. And we have discussed it with our colleagues, and the Chinese colleagues spoke about the areas that we should develop. But the limitations of our cooperation is the absence of standards. We should strive for unified standards. And of course, the logistic routes and the transits of our products or goods through Kazakhstan, with whom we have, with this country, we have certain rates, and this will increase the export to SEO countries. And of course, the technological moment, the exchange of information. It's also one of the tasks on cooperation with SEO countries. So these are the tasks that we realize and implement in our region. And what I would like to wish is to get to work out the limitations of our work. And I wish the success to the participant of this forum. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nikolai Valentinovich. I would like to ask you a question, but a little bit later. Now we pass over to the online speaking.
Государственного агентства регионального развития. Эрмек, вам слово.
Спасибо. Здравствуйте, уважаемые участники.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of the Ministry of the Agriculture, Kyrgyzstan express to welcome all the participants on this meeting and to wish all of you good health and success. And also to thank for organization of this forum and for inviting the SEO member states country. And I would like to speak about the dynamics of the agriculture on the example of Kyrgyzstan. As you maybe know, the president of our republic at the beginning of this year approved the concept of the development of agriculture that we should implement in our republic. And following this, the main purpose of this concept is to develop the system of agriculture aimed at the increase in the capabilities of agricultural complex and to security and safety of this agricultural complex. Another purpose is to increase the welfare and employment of the citizens of Kyrgyzstan, and also the development of the system. The main purpose of it is to support small and medium-sized farming households. And of course, the realization and the implementation of different strategies in relation to agricultural products. The development of agricultural cooperatives, it is necessary to create the system that will help provide financial support. One major point of this concept is aimed at the increase in the export of the agricultural complex. and to provide the security and safety of the country. The following tasks should be completed. Effective
and creating the mechanisms for financial credit support, organization of structure of and introduction of elements of cooperation and development of R&D and consultancy and personnel support, prospects of cooperative system in Kyrgyzstan is going to consist of several levels. First, initiative should be coming from the farmers themselves, unified by united project of making a cooperative, and these cooperatives which create the next element of regional cooperatives, which are based on the local cooperatives, depending on the scale. And these cooperatives will be used for servicing the various farmers of the region. And the cooperatives of the national level, which serve the interests of the local and regional cooperatives, which are going to go about the issues of the country government is underscoring the importance of cooperatives for development of agriculture. These are the most important elements of development. The main deterrent of development of cooperatives is that the farmers of these cooperatives do not have any rudiments, do not have any propaedeutics of cooperation. They must understand the principles of cooperation. So we must make a bridge between cooperatives and the international cooperative movement, which would allow to receive expertise and information and support based on the best practices, and also accounting and auditing based on the best practices of the world. The state policy in development of cooperative movement is important. Besides, we must train and exchange experience on the basis of examples of big cooperatives. Also, we must highlight that cooperators and based on the initiatives are supporting the initiative of the states where they are based, and different conditions must be provided for agricultural cooperatives development. To that end, our ministry is doing all sorts of programs for governmental support for creation and development of various cooperatives. Thank you for your understanding. Ermek Ibrahimovic, thank you very much. Please stay in touch, stay online. There will be questions possibly in the Q&A session. And we move forward. Please, floor over to the member of the Provincial Assembly of Punjab, Mr. Malik Taimur Masood.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Russia. Hope is not that
Russia.
Assalamu alaikum, distinguished leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Chair, for representing, and it's a matter of pride and honor for me to address a prestigious forum to represent my country. As everyone knows, Pakistan is a vital stake vital stake for stability and well-being of the region. It was therefore the natural that Pakistan was amongst the first country to seek an association with SCO. Role of agriculture in Pakistan. Non-agriculture sector plays a central role in the economy as it contributes 18.9% to our GDP and absorbs 42.3% of labor force. It is also an important source for the foreign exchange. According to the recent census, Pakistan 2017, the country's population is growing at a rate of 0.4% per annum. The rapid increase in the population is consequently raising the demand of agricultural products. The present government of Pakistan is focused on developing the sector, and in this connection initiated numerous steps such as crop diversification, efficient use of water channels, promotion of high value crops, including biotechnology and reducing markup rates, agricultural credit enhancement, subsidized fertilizer, cheap electricity of agricultural tube wells, and obviously green energy adoption. In Pakistan, wheat being the main staple food is cultivated on the largest acreage. Pakistan falls in 10 major wheat producing countries on the world, total production and yield per hectare. Wheat is the essential diet of population as it constitutes 60% of the daily diet of common man in Pakistan, and average per capita consumption is about 125 kg and occupies a central position in agriculture policies of the government. This season, the country has reaped an all-the-time high wheat output of 28.57 million tons, 2 million tons more than the target of 26.7 million tons. The milestone has been achieved through a 3.5% increase in the area under wheat of a favorable weather throughout the season that helped to grow healthy grain and repel yellow rust attack. Our second major crop in Pakistan is sugarcane. Sugarcane is an important cash crop of Pakistan, and it mainly grows sugar and sugar production. It is an important source of income and employment for the farming community of the country. The country produced 22% higher sugar cane at 81 million tons in fiscal year of 2021, compared to 66.38 million tons and the previous season, fiscal year of 2020. This became possible because farmers planted the crop at 12% large area, estimated at 1.16 million hectares in fiscal year of 2021, compared to 1.04 million hectares in the fiscal year of 2020. The second major crop of Pakistan is cotton. Cotton is another cash crop of Pakistan and country in the world largest producer on the raw cotton. 2011 and 2012, Pakistan ranked the fourth largest cotton producer with a 9.81% share in the global market. In the same period, Pakistan's yarn exports contributed 26.1% and 2.8% to the global market. Cotton export contributed for 46% of Pakistan's total exports and provide 35% of employment to the labor force. Rice is a major export from Pakistan, which fed 2.4 billion last year, down from 2.2 billion for a year before. Pakistan is only exporting 2 million tons, which is 10% world trade. Basmati rice, approximately 25% of export Pakistan share. Rice grain fulfills 60% of population Pakistan for food need. Rice exports is the second highest source income of Pakistan. Thirdly, there are citrus crops. In crops year 2021, Pakistan had exported 460,000 tons of oranges, making this is at the highest ever volume during any season. The export season that ended in April 2021, 460,000 tons of oranges have been exported from the country to the worldwide, up 30% compared to the last season. The demand of Pakistani oranges is on the rise worldwide. Meanwhile, Pakistan has posted over 2 billion export mark for the 7th consecutive month in April as the country's exports showed US $2.19 billion in April 2021. The brief that it has been honored to be among such an accomplished
Malik,
individuals.
I'm sorry. We have just one more minute. Sorry.
Okay, I'm just trying to conclude it. Brief, it's been honored to be among such an accomplished individuals and to be able to present my perspective before you as a Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a platform to share each other experiences for the development for our people and region. Food security is prevailing in our region and also all over the world. So rather than to be insecure, we should benefit from each other's success story, which lead to the food sufficient region in the world. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And if you don't mind, I have just one small question. No. У нас еще один спикер, подождите секундочку, пожалуйста. Я хотел задать вопрос Малику, ну ладно, мы перейдем к нему позже. Давайте мы закончим. У нас еще один спикер.
We have another speaker over online, which is the Deputy Director for Department of Development of Agricultural Complex of Russia, Mr. Malkhasyan. Can you hear us, please? Yes, do you hear us? Yeah, we hear you okay, and we are expecting presentation. Dear colleagues, thank you very much for having me and for invitation to take part in this outbreak of the forum of the SCO countries. As you know, agriculture is one of the priorities of interaction in terms of the SCO. And the beginning of work in this direction was laid in 2010. At the moment, the agreement was signed between the agrarian ministries of member states, and over these years we have been able to reach good goals, important goals. We have made a mechanism which allow us to discuss on the regular basis the actual, the topical issues, both on the level of experts and heads of the ministries, and we have standards-based codes formed, which are regulating the main aspects on the agrarian track. And we can say in particular that special plans of action have been developed in providing for production security among the SCO countries, and some synchronization is done for to counter the illnesses in animals. And we are working on development and implementation of the breakthrough technologies on the SCO platform. Besides, we are doing the active part in interaction of trade and economic cooperation. In 2020, the trade over in agriculture of SCO was $11.5 million, and now we have $7 billion US dollars. The regional aspect of cooperation is also not less important, an instrument for reaching the goals which we are setting for our cooperation in the in this agricultural arena. In particular, we have developed special programs in the ministries of economic development, and ministers of agriculture are taking active part in this. And besides, at present, we are developing a bank of best practices in development of far territories of SCO states, where special attention is paid to the interaction for development of agricultural and rural areas on SCO platform. In practical sphere, we are for extending cooperation in the rural sphere, and the seamless chains will allow us to create various events and make all SCO member states measures and events. Despite the pandemic, I would like to highlight that interaction among the SCO states is continuing, actually, is not ceasing. The second, this is the great example, this particular event and special outbreaks. In closing, I would like to thank Chelyabinsk region for organization of this event and for the event, for the Ministry of Agriculture to take part in this outbreak session. And I wish us a lot, wish fruitful cooperation, fruitful work for all participants. Dear Mr. Artyom Vitalyevich, thank you very much. Should anybody have questions from here? In the other corner, you can see a stand with a microphone. You can ask a question of any speaker. Are there any questions? Okay. If possible, please, for everybody to hear. Good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Deputy Governor of Fergana region of Uzbekistan. I have a question for Georgy Georgievich and Ministers of Agriculture of Chelyabinsk and Omsk region. Georgy Georgievich, are you planning to open the representative office of Rossovkhozbank in Uzbekistan, and are you practicing actual system of import operations? This is a question for you and for ministers. As we are the biggest exporter of various crops in Uzbekistan, we are very much interested in the realization of joint projects to produce and process various crops in the Russian Federation. So could we meet up with you and speak about this in particular? So I would not like to borrow time from your general discussion. It's just that we have not been able to arrange a meeting with you. Can I answer? Yes. Well, the representative office in Uzbekistan, it is particularly at this point as we speak. In Uzbekistan, we are signing a special agreement between Rossovkhozbank and the biggest bank of Uzbekistan about the creation of correspondent bank relationship and about the limits and about the subject of opening up a representative office, setting up an office inside this bank. We are trying to work it out because, of course, in Uzbekistan, economic growth is there and business is growing also over the past few years. We see, and the physical presence, we understand, will help us and our customers. As for the factoring and other settlements instruments, as we have said, we have limits set on banking in Uzbekistan. And therefore, we can provide alternatives to customers in terms of letters of credits, settlements using other banks' resources.
Конечно, уже готовы встретиться.
Of course, we are ready to meet up with you. If today is not possible, then we could select any other time convenient for you to discuss the prospects of cooperation. Omsk region are ready also for the dialogue, not only as part of this platform, but also tomorrow we are having a Fergana Oblast meeting and Namangan Oblast, Namangan region, and we are ready to receive you in our region in particular because we have a great interest, in mutual interest in development of cooperation. Colleagues, yeah, hello. About the negotiations and meetings on this platform. In fact, we have a conference rooms here, meeting rooms here prepared. We have a girl here raising her hand. You can come over to her and she will arrange everything for you to be able to discuss everything between you in more detail. Thank you very much. In fact, this issue, last one, was very wonderful because it is actually recapitulating the gist and the main outcome of our today's meeting. Let me say now what people have been talking about. All the speakers have been speaking about cooperation. It is cooperation that we are ready for. Everybody wants it. So we have raised the question of cooperatives, unified basis, unified information resources, and information zones, and the joint RD about different issues, the regional centers. All of this speaks for the desire and for the need of making a consolidated market where we could interact in innovation-wise, business-wise, our agrarian retail-wise, the university-wise, state program-wise, consolidating the territories and countries, making the joint supply chains, producing of breakthrough technologies, and possibly create, but it has not been talked about today, but let me raise this point today, making joint food clusters. These are some kind of the subdivision of regional centers where different countries, various countries and regions could cooperate. And so the outcome is that everybody everybody is ready. We must make a next step. So the outcome of the meeting is that the next meetings are coming. So I hope there will be more meetings like this, more negotiations, more specific and concrete affairs, more concrete things. So we are finishing now. We are closing in 5 minutes. The next panel session, next outbreak will be here. Thank you very much to everyone. And I suggest that everybody exchange business cards. That this is exactly what we're here for. Thank you.
我打开了。对，你过来看一下，这边都是俄语的是吧？有的主任说这个是在中文之间，完了有些事儿关掉。
Алло, слышите нас?
आप पहले वहाँ थे क्या HSIDC में? इधर आ गए?
Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Попрошу занять всех свои места, и мы начнем нашу панельную сессию.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. In some minutes, we are going to start our session.
Уважаемые коллеги,
Dear colleagues, good afternoon. to everyone who have come to this room and want to participate in our meeting. And the format of our meeting allows us to respect the borders of our meeting. And of course, I know that there is an online session and online translation. And today we have some online speakers. And first of all, I would like to introduce our speakers. Next to me is Kasim Navid, the Special Assistant of the Chief Minister of the Province of Sindh of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Next is Panchenkov Mikhail Anatольевич is the head of the Committee on International Cooperation of Samara Regional Department of Delaware, Russia. And then Zafar Sharali Saidzada is the Consul General of the Republic of Tajikistan in Ekaterinburg. And the last one is Azbek Azamatович Hadikov is the head of the deputy head of the government, the Minister of Economic Development of Astrakhan region. Today, I will be the moderator of the session. My name is Brudskih Andrei Alexandrovich. I am the Dean of the Humanities Faculty of St. Petersburg State Economic University. Some speakers will join us via video conferences. First, this is the Sun Zhijiang, the head, the Deputy Director of the Administrative Committee of the Pilot Zone of China. And then Yan Chenlan, the Deputy Head of the Department of Communication and Transport of Xinjiang Yoga Autonomous Region. And Saket Kumar, the Director General of the Department of Industry and Commerce of the Haryana State of India. The format is every speaker will have 5 minutes so that we have some time for the discussion. The year 2021 is a year of the Jubilee. 20 years ago, the SCO was established on the 17th of September. Summit in Dushanbe took place, and the declaration of the 20th anniversary has been approved. And this is the cooperation in the sphere of trade and economics, creation of favorable conditions for the cooperation, investments based on the principles of competitiveness. And here, I would like to remind you about another summit that took place in June 2018 in Qingdao, where the heads of our countries welcomed the whole of the regions of the SCO countries. And I would like to give the floor to Sanjay Chen, who is the Deputy Director of the Administrative Committee of the Pilot Zone of the Regional Trade and Economic Cooperation of China, SCO. He will join us via video conferencing.
尊敬的安德烈院长、各位领导、各位同志，大家好！很高兴通过视频的方式能够参加我们上合组织成员国。
It is a great honor and pleasure
也非常感谢
for me
车里演宾斯克州政府的邀请，来参加此次活动。
to meet with you.
机会呢，向各位来宾介绍一下上河示范区的有关情况。
And I would like to thank the chair of the meeting. I'm glad to meet all of you here via video conferencing, and on behalf of the Chinese Exemplary Demonstration Zone of Regional Trade and Economic Cooperation of SCO, I would like to thank the government of the Chelyabinsk region for the invitation to take part in this event. On the 10th of June 2018, the President Xi Jinping officially announced at the 18th meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization that the Chinese government supports the construction of a demonstration zone for regional economic and trade cooperation of the China-Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Qingdao. On September 17, 2021, President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping, took part in the 21st meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization via video conference in Beijing and delivered a speech, "Never forget the origins, keep moving forward." An important speech under the slogan, "The beginning of a new path for the development of SCO," indicated the direction of the beginning of a new path for the development of the whole country. and development of cooperation with Mongolia and Russia in the north and ASEAN in the south. It is the Qingdao is located 15 kilometers from Qingdao Jiadong International Airport. From Qingdao Port, the sixth largest port in the world, and 15 kilometers from the railway port. The SCO Multimodal Transportation Center, which provides efficient intermodal transport links between sea, ground, air, and rail transportation. During the relying on a multimodal transport center, the SCO demonstration zone has built an international logistics corridor and a new platform for international cooperation along the Belt and Road, regularly serving 22 international and domestic trains and opening 8 SCO express routes to Bishkek, Tashkent, Moscow. From January to August 2021, 358 irregular trains operated in the Shanghai Cooperation Demonstration Zone, which is 53.6% more, and the volume of container traffic amount to 572,000 units, which is 31.5% more. In 2021, China launched the first train in China to transport fresh refrigerated vegetables to Moscow. The first export train in the province for overseas consulting project. The first train in the province for cross-border e-commerce. The first train in the province SCO demonstration zone Dushanbe, Tajikistan. And also the province's first bill of lading issued by the China International Freight Forwarders Association.
在对外交流方面，我们克服疫情影响，创造性开展工作，累计举办中俄青年。
On the eve of the 21st meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as of State Council, we are working with the Qingdao Customs Service and Shandong Expressway Group to assist in the timely and efficient dispatch of materials to Dushanbe in honor of SCO heads of states. The company efficiently promotes economic trade exchanges with SCO countries. We are actively expanding transport international route transportation business, and within a year we will open full transport international routes to Central Asia, China, and Russia, as well as Central Europe. We conducting consultations on creation of thematic exhibitions. We have received assistance from the ambassadors of these countries. We hope that the cooperation with our partners, with our colleagues from SCO countries, at the 21st meeting of the heads of state of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, a decision was taken to create a university on the basis of Shanghai University. Besides, we plan to implement the cooperation on creating international logistic corridors that allow for barrier-free logistics and transit of goods through the borders. Global cooperation in the sphere of logistics. The third direction of our planned work is the comprehensive economic and trade cooperation, well, exchange and consultations with our partners, and we invite all the colleagues from SCO countries to implement more deepened cooperation with our demonstration zone in Qingdao. I wish you success and fruitful work. Thank you very much for your attention.
江西省非常感谢你的精彩的发言。上合组织成员国他们都支持中国提出的“一带一路”的倡议。我想也祝愿中国和你们的上合组织
I also wish you great success. I would like to thank you and thank the demonstration zone for fruitful work over these years, and the idea to strengthen cooperation in this zone. First of all, the SEO countries, in a consistent manner, state that the cooperation between the SEO countries are very important, especially within the frameworks of I would like to give the floor to the head of the deputy head of the government, Minister of Economic Development of Astrakhan, Astrakhanskaya region, Hadikov Kazbek Azamatovich. This is the topic of his talk, the Caspian cluster in the system of transport logistics, comparison between SEO. First of all, let me thank the organizers of this meeting. The topic of our meeting for my region, Astrakhan region, is of utmost importance, and I would like to focus my speech on the role of the so-called Caspian cluster in the system of transport logistics of the SEO countries. Maybe, as you know, a new program of multilateral trade and economic cooperation till 2035, approved by the heads of the SEO countries. Transport and logistics are the priorities of the development. The program, in particular, presupposes the creation of multimodal transport corridors, development of collaboration on receipt of interconnectivity, development, implementation of joint transport strategies, and the facilitation of the transits. All these aspects are of great importance for our region, which is at the crossroad of two actively developing transport corridors, north-south and east-west. Through the ground and sea routes, they connect Russia, East and Central and Middle Asia. According to the strategy of development of the Russian Federation, our region is located near the borders, and the key area of the development of the transport infrastructure, we view the development of transport corridors. The specific feature of this corridor is a multimodal character, which combines the sea and ground transportation. Despite some additional workload, the timing of the shipment will be much less than using the conventional ways of transportation through channel. It has been proved many times. So, due to some objective reasons, the corridor south-north not working to full extent. In December 2020, for development of the container transportation of Caspian, the Caspian transportation line has been created. Now we are using two ships for shipment that come into the port of Astrakhan, Turkmenbashi. Another corridor west-east is the longest route. It connects the countries, European countries and European parts of Russia with other countries. For smooth flow, smooth shipment through Russian-Kazakhstan borders, joint efforts of two countries, the bridge over the bordering river has been built, and so this transportation it touches upon the interest of both countries. Now I am going to give you a few words about the Astrakhan transport node. The keys of this are the ports of two ports. The total capacity is 18.5 million tons per year. The nomenclature of the freight is the metal, crops, chemical substances and fertilizers, automobiles, and some other freight, some other goods. The freight, the goods turnover a year is 3 million freight, which is 15% higher than the last year. And you will see that in dynamics, our cooperation leads to the increase in the turnover of the freight. Taking into account the freight turnout through Caspian, first of all, we think about the economy of Iran when we invite the alternative routes, and this is a necessary prerequisite of the increase in the development of transportation. And we have made some steps to increase the competitiveness of our ports and to increase the turnover of freight in of these ports. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin has set up certain tasks to invite transit freights. One of these tasks is to create a special economic zone in the port in Astrakhan region near the port Alia. This project is aimed at the development of a modern, meeting all the modern requirements, industrial district, which will combine all the capacities of the ports, industrial port, to create the freight terminal to process the freight with a turnover of 8 million tons by 2030 and 19 million tons by 2050. And this will be the key link in the Russian transportation system. There was an agreement between the private investor OLP Caspy in October 2019. The private investment to this project will be about 16 million rubles, and with further increase with the development of the project. A group of investment companies that participated in this project also plan to take part in the implementation of this container terminal and development of the capacities within the framework of this terminal. It will allow us to get increased flow of freight to this port. Another investment project is the special economic zones, Lotus, which was created in accordance with the act of the government of the Russian Federation. They have special tax benefits and customs benefits and preferences. As an example, we have recently launched a plant by an Iranian company of producing the chemicals for domestic use, and then next year we plan to launch it to full capacity. The system of tax and custom benefits for the residents of this port special economic zone, it's similar for residents of the special economic zone. I would like to pay your attention to the fact that by implementing port special economic zone, the investor gets from 15 to 20% saving at the stage of manufacturing, and it has also the manufacturer also saves due to the tax. The development of this cluster presupposes the extension of this territory, creation of this port special economic zone. From the point of view of the processing of the freight, bulking the freight, docking the freight, and due to this, or thanks to this, favorable conditions are created. And this Caspian cluster also has a favorable geopolitical location. It has access to many countries. In the framework of the development of all these economic zones, it allows us to have successful positions, successful places that plan to enter the markets of these countries. In conclusion, I would like to say that the government of the Astrakhan region will do its best to facilitate and to enhance the cooperation. We are ready for negotiations with our partners, and we encourage the participants of this forum to join the cooperation in regard to Kazakh cluster. Thank you very much, Kazmatovich. Let's come up the Volga River to the Volga region. A project between the some projects been developed here, but it's not the only example of the development. It's also the creation of multimodal centers, also coordination of borders and customs and sanitary control of transit of movement of goods. It's of great interest, and I would like to give an example. I invite Mikhail. Please, Mikhail Anatольевич, 5 minutes for us to be comfortable. Thank you very much for the introduction. Today I will go into speak about Samara regional experience in cooperation with Uzbekistan. So, expansion of trade and economic cooperation, the SCO, requires the development of a joint strategy for international logistics and transport corridors between Asia and Europe. It is a key area of international and development of existing sales markets. This gives a significant impetus to the development of interregional cooperation, forms a modern efficient system of transport. Interregional mutually beneficial trade and economic relations cannot be imagined without the formation of comprehensive commodity distribution infrastructure. Otherwise, we risk getting bogged down in endless negotiations. The creation of a special infrastructure abroad to support the export of Russian companies, to take some steps that shorten the risks in accessing exported goods to the end customer, be it in the B2B or B2C segment, and developing the close trade and economic mutual ties that have developed between Samara region and the Republic of Uzbekistan. So let me remind you that Samara region ranks first in exports to Uzbekistan among the regions of the Federal District and sixth in the Russian Federation. Export of the Samara region to Uzbekistan in 2020, despite the pandemic and COVID measures, grew by 25.8% as compared to the previous year. The business community of both countries took the initiative to create a trade and logistics ecosystem in the format of distribution centers in Tashkent, Rustrada, and Samara, Asia Invest. This initiative did not appear out of nowhere, but in connection to some objective reasons: economic reforms in Uzbekistan, the growth of mutual trade turnover between our countries, business requests for building long-term mutually beneficial cooperation. Also, the presidents of our countries at the Russian-Uzbek Forum in Tashkent in the fall of 2018 set the task to achieve a trade turnover of $1 billion. To complete this task, Samara entrepreneurs, with the support of the government of the Samara region and the governor of the region, the Russian Export Center, and the Ministry of Industry and Trade of Russia, and of course the regional branch of the public organization Yelova Rossiya, in October 2020 in the city of Tashkent launched the work of the Russian Trade and Distribution Center. It's an industrial park yet on the territory of 120,000 square meters. It includes open and closed commercial warehouses, secure storage warehouses, platform for handling sea containers, custom warehouses, and open areas for temporary storage warehouses, their own railway, and convenient access roads. Due to its unique status, Rustrada has formed complex office for Russian Uzbek companies and organizations, including programs for market analysis, collections of bona fide partners, arrangement of distribution and promotion of goods, localization of production. Today, it has provided support to more than 30 Russian companies of different parts of different regions of Russia, including Samara, Penza, and some other regions, Primorski territory, including, and some other regions like Kaliningrad and Ulyanovsk regions. I hope that enterprises and sub-institutions, especially the Chelyabinsk region, will follow the good practices of their colleagues and also begin cooperation with Uzbekistan and with our Russian trade and distribution. Rus trade today is an important standing point for Russian exporting companies and development institutions responsible for promoting the development of foreign economic activity, thanks to the already established close relations with key business associations of the Republic of Uzbekistan and the wide network of local partners. Realizing that the development of trade and cooperation is always a two-way road, a strategy for creating a mirror project in Samara was implemented in November 2020. Asia Invest, a trade distribution center for products of the Republic of Uzbekistan in Russia, was opened in the Samara region. It happened, official opening happened within the framework of the national exhibition made in Uzbekistan. The project was supported by the Export Promotion Agency of Uzbekistan under the Ministry of Investments and Foreign Trade of the Republic, the Agency for the Development of Viticulture and Winemaking of Uzbekistan, the Chairman of the Board of Asia Investment, the Association of Export of the Republic of Uzbekistan with the assistance of the ambassadors of Russia and Uzbekistan. The purpose is to provide the population of Samara region and regions of Volga Federal District with fresh, high-quality agricultural products from Uzbekistan at affordable prices. As a result, the Asia Invest Trade and Distribution Center in Samara will trade a product movement corridor, the potential of which is to use the seasonal climatic interchangeability of the assortment offer of Russia, Uzbekistan, balancing counter freight flows and creating favorable rates for its beneficial use by participants. The created ecosystems of Rus Trader and Asia Invest Trade and the distribution centers has every chance of becoming one of the main hubs and building an effective logistics strategy in the Volga Federal District, since all the conditions have been created for the accelerated, barrier-free movement of goods and interaction between companies of both countries. The cooperation between Russia and Uzbekistan is crucially important to arrange for the best possible infrastructure that allows using the potential of railways, which again points to Samara as one of the largest railway junctions in Russia, with the potential to integrate into large-scale transport corridors such as East-West, North-South, and the Great Silk Road. In conclusion, it should be noted that trade and logistics centers, being the most important element of the system of international transport network, play a special role in the effective organization of logistic activities and ensuring the smooth movement, transshipment, distribution, and processing of cross-border goods. In turn, the development of partnership between multimodal logistics centers, including through the exchange of information, investment cooperation, the development and implementation of new technologies based on artificial intelligence at all stages of the movement of traffic, will lead to the creation of a unified ecosystem of logistics platform for integrated logistics management, which will help improve the efficiency of the function of the international transport corridors of the Eurasian region. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. Yes, we always speak about mutual help, mutual connectivity, mutual cooperation. And for this, concept of single window has been developed. And the enterprises of Samara region is a window that exists for the extension of the cooperation of the countries and countries of the region. The creation of favorable conditions for the automobile production. We have 6 green corridors. Part of them go through the Xinjiang-Yuga corridor, and today we're talking about the longest corridor of its kind that combines the Pacific Ocean and the Baltic Sea. This is a very important logistics link. It also plays an important part. And the creation of international logistic hubs, it's very important between, for example, Kazakhstan and China. The hub was center, which is located near the borders. And now I'm going to give the floor to the representative of the very western part of China, the deputy head of the XURR Transport Department, Yang Qingliang.
我必须也给您提醒一下时间的限制，5到7分钟啊，谢谢。好的，
可以讲了。尊敬的各位代表，很高兴和大家在云端相聚，共同参加第2届上海合作组织成员
Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to have the opportunity to take part in today's forum of the heads of regions of the SCO member states and a panel session dedicated to the role of regions in the development of logistics routes. I would like to thank the organizers for work done. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the SCO. Over the past 20 years, the SCO has developed rapidly, and now all the participating countries can enjoy the results of mutually beneficial cooperation. China's Belt and Road Initiative has received a lot of support from the organization member. Now we all have the opportunity to deepen cooperation in a wide range of areas, including transport logistics. Cooperation in the SEO space has increased the level of well-being of our peoples, as well as facilitated regional cooperation, which in turn made it possible to achieve the effect of integrated development through coordinated work and joint use of the results of common labors. Connectivity is at the heart of the One Belt, One Road initiative, and infrastructure connectivity is the artery that drives the initiative. XUAR is a window of openness to the Western territories, which, thanks to the simplification to border crossing mechanisms for goods and people, as well as the integration of routes crossing the entire region, made it possible to unite the entire region into an integrated logistic network, which contributes to the development of key regions along the economic belt of the Silk Road, accelerating the formation of a special interconnected transport and logistics network that has a comprehensive functionality and involves the integrated development of land and air corridors. XUAR can share its experience and become a support for further joint efforts. Speaking about experience, it is worth turning our attention to a number of aspects. First, the construction of high-speed highway Lianggang-Kogas. It has been completed. Now we can announce in a responsible manner the start of high-speed traffic through XUAR to Europe. Traffic was launched on the G7 Beijing XUAR highway, which has become the second high-speed road artery crossing the XUAR borders. Second, the railway network has been actively improved. High-speed rail routes were put into operation from Urumqi to other provinces of the People's Republic of China. The China-Europe and China-Asia Railway Express trains operate in a stable and consistent manner. New land, new ground, and sea corridors connecting the XUAR with the Western territories are actively developing. A network of air routes has been formed, uniting the entire region into a single transport network. The fourth, the role of energy corridors is becoming more obvious. 2 lines for the transportation of electricity from XUAR, 3 lines for the delivery of natural gas from west to east have been put into operation. The 3rd line of delivery of natural gas from the 3rd line of energy supply has been actively developed. Creation of information corridors and increasing the role of data. Barrier-free communication contributes to an open and prosperous economy. In January-August of this year, 8,200 cross-border trains passed through the Kogas and Alashankou checkpoints, which is 33.4% more than in the same period, including 685 trains formed an XUAR, which indicates an increase of 7.9%. One window principle in international trade has been actively promoted, which contributes to the acceleration of import customs processes up to 23.4 hours, export up to 0.57 hours. It can be noted that the time for completion of customs formalities has been reduced more than by 1/3 in terms of the convenience of customs clearance at relevant checkpoints. The XUAR occupies a leading position in the country. The coronavirus pandemic has become an unprecedented challenge for the global economy. The economies of all countries, without exception, have faced serious losses. This leads to global economic instability. There are more sources of uncertainties. At the 21st SCO Summit of Heads of States, Chinese President Xi Jinping noted that in order to restore the economy after COVID, China is ready to share market opportunities and make possible efforts to ensure that the total trade turnover in SCO space exceeds 2.3 trillion US dollars. In the process of achieving this goal, increasing the transport and logistics potential of the XUAR can play an important role. Relying on transport openness and comprehensive international cooperation, XUAR plans to actively develop road and rail communications transport corridors of multimodal transportation, as well as the function of international logistics distribution of flows. In this regard, we will create new and modernize old international routes, implement agreements to optimize international transport corridors in the SCO space, fulfill the transport cross-border potential of the SCO countries, as well as build inter-regional cross-border corridors that will contribute to the transport connectivity of the SCO member states. Dear colleagues, let us together follow the Shanghai spirit, which is based on the principles of mutual trust, respect, equality, coordination, and respect for cultures. Strengthen the role of regions in the development of logistic routes in the SCO space, and by joint efforts build a bright future. Thank you for your attention. Active development of the existing cooperation and transport corridors. The results of the efforts that we take. Thank you for it. At different platforms, we many times focus on the support of the small and medium-sized businesses in order to get economic increase and increase the well-being of the citizens, and to have direct contacts between the business circles, and not to speak on behalf of the business centers. I give the floor to Tsagankov Vadim Igorovich, the CEO of Agrapar Makash, and what business is waiting, is looking for? What do you expect? I would like to greet all the participants. Our Agropark has been created with the support of the government of the Omsk region. It's a private site. The area is about 250 hectares. It is subdivided into two thematic so-called zones. This is the storage and processing of agricultural products and the industrial side. So you see the right part is you see many sites from 1 hectare and more for the entrepreneurs. This is the manufacturing of agricultural machinery. This is the sales of these are the dealers and the maintenance and the transport companies that offer their services. And the left part, this is the distribution sector. This is storage and processing of the products. And of course, the roads being built and the access roads built for the manufacturers to be able to have opportunity to sell very quickly and efficiently their products to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. And as my colleague from Samara has already said, the products are transported via automobile routes due to some customs formalities. And we strive for some railroads to get the railroad routing, railroad transportation of the goods. Working on it. Our main goal of our company is not only the construction of one distribution center, but also as being an industrial park, Marcos, we create the opportunities, the conditions for the companies that get ready to use infrastructure and can start up their business very quickly and efficiently. A few residents are already operating on in the territory of our agro park. So one constructs rose docks, the second one constructs the sites for the body shops for automobiles, and another resident. Today we just had the third resident, which is getting ready to locate the production of different packaging. Today we are also negotiating on locating the elevator and on processing of deep processing of grain, and some other projects are ready to enter our industrial park, not only from Omsk region, but also from Belarus and some other countries. But agro park is not only business, we also create the site, the facilities for, so let me check. We are also creating the facilities for the rest and the entertainment. So you see the winter sports, this is the for horse racing, for automobile racing, and we invite people not only to conduct business, but also to have a rest and just to spend some time and enjoy themselves. So you see to the left on the slide, the elevator project. It will be agro-OMS, so we will hold the exhibition. It's an annual event which is held in the center of the city, but we want it to be held in the territory of our agro park. You see in a close picture of small and medium-sized businesses located. You see the three objects, and here you see the distribution centers in the right lower hand level angle. You see the picture of the centers. We copied we use the best practices of Chinese companies. We want to use it in Omsk. I'm ready to answer all your questions either now or a little bit later if anyone is interested. So I would like to share the booklets where you will have a detailed company. Thank you very much. I think that I'm sure that we will have some questions, and we will ask them after all the speakers, just to have talks in some informal atmosphere. So you said the copying is has a kind of a negative connotation, but in your words it sounded very positively. It means that it is the best practice, and why should we create something new, do any innovations if there is some good example and we can use it and not creating the wheel. So speaking about the copying, today we create some typical objects and we scale them in accordance with the demand of the entrepreneurs, and we plan to extend the construction to our residents. We offer ready-to-be-used projects, and so they do not need to take time to get some permissions, and in 2-3 months they could start their business, so to say, to put the shovel into the land and start doing business. So this extension of the business is called scaling nowadays. So thank you very much once again, Vadim Igorovich. In 2017, at the summit in Astana, in Kazakhstan and India, received the status of the member states, and what opportunities these regions see for themselves by being
automobiles or motorcycles where each refrigerator is used in this land. Moreover, the state has a positive experience of cooperation with the very giant Whirlpool. I would like to give the floor to Dr. Director of Industry of Haryana.
Thank you so much. Honorable moderator of this panel discussion, distinguished co-panelists, ladies and gentlemen. As part of the Make in India initiative of the Government of India, we have laid a greater focus on providing adequate logistic support and establishing backward and forward linkages to integrate ourselves with the global supply chain. Today, I would like to highlight the strengths of the state of Haryana, India, in this regard, making it an attractive investment destination. Presentation, please. So Haryana as a state is considered an industrial powerhouse with more than 250 Fortune 500 companies being based in the state. With an area covering 1.3% of the country, Haryana contributes nearly 3.9% of the GDP of India. It surrounds the India's capital, New Delhi, as you can see in the slide also. It has the benefit of geographical confluence with economic corridors, 7 special economic zones, investment regions, and other big ticket infrastructure projects with both the eastern and western freight corridors and several industrial corridors passing through the state. If we see the connectivity part, we have 5 domestic airports, namely Hisar, Bhiwani, Karnal, Narnaul, and Pinjore. And we are close to 2 international airports, that is Delhi as well as Chandigarh. We have a good road network with almost 27,235 square kilometers of roads with national highways and state highways. Then we have 9 inland container depots, 3 container freight stations, and 8 private freight terminals. So most of the districts of the state of Haryana are covered by at least 1 industrial corridor. Next. I would particularly like to focus on 2 industrial corridors, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, DMIC, and Amritsar-Calcutta Industrial Corridor. Both these industrial corridors are coming up in a big way and will provide adequate logistical support to any investor which is planning to come to the state of Haryana. Gurugram has also come up as a big center, and it has multiple industries catering to multiple sectors like auto parts. It is also a service sector hub, and apart from that, it also caters to various type of exports, starting from rice to garment to auto components and IT parts. So we have the Kundli Manesar Palwal Integrated Model Logistics Park, as well as this is coming up in a big way, the Kundli Manesar Palwal Expressway, and both sides of this KMP Expressway, industrial development is going on a rapid pace. This abuts 2 major inland container depots also. One is in Gadi Harsaru, Gurugram, and the second is in Piala, Faridabad. Apart from this logistical part, I would like to highlight some of the incentives that the state is providing to make it attractive for the investors. We have a Haryana Enterprise and Employment Policy, which has been promulgated in the year 2020, and it has specific provisions for logistics and warehouse. And apart from that, we also have a dedicated Haryana Logistics, Warehouse and Retail Policy, which was formulated in the year 2019. It provides for interest subsidy, financial assistance up to rupees 5 crores for warehousing, up to rupees 15 crores for establishing a logistics park, and up to rupees 25 crore for developing infrastructure in the integrated multimodal logistic park. Apart from that, there is a provision of refunding the external development charges, that is the EDC, and the commercial license fee, whichever is applicable. This will be reimbursed to the investor when he establishes his unit here. And there is another incentive where the floor area ratio, that is the FAR, it is also up to 150% subject to certain conditions. I would like to highlight three upcoming areas which have great investment potential, because they are being developed right now, and we are in the process of allotting land and other infrastructure to these areas. One is a domestic airport which is coming at Hisar. It is an integrated aviation hub which is spread over a 7,200 acre area, and we are planning to develop it into a warehousing, cargo, MRO, and FBO hub. Then we have a integrated multi-modal logistic hub coming up in Narnaul, Mahendragarh, over 1,000 acre plot size, and a project cost of almost $1 billion. Next. Apart from that, we have a single window clearance system for smoother transactions for any potential investor. The HEPC portal is there, and the investor can apply for all the clearances on the same portal, and they will be processed on priority. And the logistics hub have also been specially planned in such a way that they abut the major industrial corridors with good road connectivity, rail connectivity, as well as the air connectivity. And we also are focusing on commodity-specific infrastructures, such as agro parks, auto hubs, etc. And then we are also looking at the value-added services, such as integrated freight terminals. So these key players, as you can see on the screen, are already there in the logistics and warehousing scene of the state of Haryana, these big names. And I would like to assure any of the potential investors that are looking Haryana as an investment destination, that whenever they contact us, whenever they come in our touch, they will have a pleasant experience, and we will ensure that any issues that they have, any investment that they would like to make, is processed at a rapid pace. And with this, I would like to welcome all of you to the state of Haryana. Thank you so much for your attention and giving me this opportunity to present on behalf of Government of Haryana. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Maybe some technical problems, but in any case, thank you for your proposal about logistic and warehousing hubs. And we hope we can take your experience not only in India, but all over the SCO countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
В том же 2017 году полноправным членом
2017, a full-fledged member of the SCO is Pakistan, and we would separately thank Pakistan for being able to participate in the forum in the offline format. And I would like to give the floor to Mr. Qasim Navid, special aid to the Minister of Sindh Province. Although we do not know much about Sindh Province, but maybe a lot of people know about Karachi, the biggest city of Sindh Province, and it is like a window, a logistics port, and a window of Pakistan to the world. So, Mr. Qasim Navid, over to you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished panelists. I'd just like to start by thanking all the people who helped arrange today's summit and the Chelyabinsk region that has hosted us. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to appraise the panelists about the role of region in the development of logistic routes on the territory of the member states of SCO, Pakistan shares with SCO members deep-rooted historical, cultural, economic, and strategic links. Highlighting Pakistan's active participation in all the SCO activities, I appreciate that SCO has established itself as a significant and influential player in the international arena by leveraging its competitive advantages. SCO's unique and pragmatic portfolio of economic, trade, development, security, and counterterrorism cooperation distinguishes it from other international organizations. I firmly believe that globalization has emerged in recent decades as the main trend in international relations and continues to deepen the intertwining of relations between countries and regions of the world. The rapid development of modern technologies in areas of transport, communication, and information delivery and transmission is contributing to the creation of a cohesive global community of states united by, amongst other things, common development challenges. Keeping in view the dire need of interconnectivity between SCO member states, Pakistan has already offered to connect China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, with 6 approved routes of Shanghai Cooperation Organization to enhance the region's connectivity. This would serve as a north-south energy and trade corridor linking Eurasian landmass, China, Russia, and Central Asia with the Arabian Sea. Pakistan is ready to expand mutually beneficial trade, economic cooperation, and connectivity in SCO region. Pakistan encourages trade and transit through its territory as it is upgrading infrastructure, roads, railways, and ports. CPEC will provide natural connectivity to SCO member states and is already connected to 6 routes of SCO through the nodal point of Kashgar. CPEC SCO connectivity would further enhance economic cooperation, and special economic zones along the corridor will spur growth and economic opportunities for the entire region. After the withdrawal of NATO forces from Afghanistan, China, Russia, Pakistan, and Central Asian states are coming up with a positive response. China, being an emerging economic power, has indicated to make investments in the war-torn country that will benefit SCO member countries as well. Now we will see economic activities in the region once the new Afghan government will be a part of Belt and Road Initiative. It is a golden opportunity for the regional countries to develop logistic routes for economic development. Consolidation of SCO in the wake of a unipolar world is a blessing in disguise for regional countries in general and Pakistan in particular. SCO has provided a meaningful opportunity to develop confidence among the member states as well as regional countries for the promotion of peace, security, and stability by addressing the irritants among intra-regional and inter-regional states. Now it is imperative for SCO to positively engage the world media to project its policies and objectives and achievements ever since its evaluation to the present day. The organization must make the world, and especially the West, realize that despite possessing a strategic power potential, the alliance has no design to emerge as a NATO of the East or a club of authoritarians. Pakistan's admission to SCO as a full member is significant both in regional and global context. And Pakistan can serve as a hub for trade and energy corridor, hence possessing a capability to make a yielding contribution to SCO and provide a feasible link between SCO states and South Asia. The strategic location of Pakistan provides access to Central Asia to materialize its ambition of North-South trade corridor, providing the shortest land route to Central Asian regions for access to the Arabian Sea. And Pakistan virtually remains the most viable option for regional connectivity. SCO, with the collaboration and support of Pakistan, can tangibly play a crucial role in reconstruction and rehabilitation of Afghanistan A secure, stable, and peaceful Afghanistan will be in the interest of all stakeholders, including regional and extra-regional players, and ultimately leading to a peaceful world. Certainly, the government of Sindh is keen to kickstart a number of projects under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and its top priorities include Karachi Circular Railway, Tabeji Special Economic Zone, and KT Bandar Seaport Development. Pakistan is blessed with a 1,046-kilometer coastline along the Arabian Sea. Pakistan so far has developed 3 big ports, namely Karachi Port, Gwadar Port, and Mohammed bin Qasim Port, which is one of the oldest ports in Pakistan. Karachi Port is one of the largest ports in South Asia and the busiest port of Pakistan. It is considered to be an economic hub of Pakistan, dealing with around 60% of the nation's cargo. It has a deep natural port with an 11.5 kilometer long navigable channel and a 12.2 meter deep approach tunnel. The port has 30 dry cargo and 3 liquid cargo handling berths, including a privately operated modern container terminal called the Karachi International Container Terminal, KICT. The port is handling about 26 million tons of cargo per annum, which includes 14 million tons of liquid and 12 million tons of dry cargo. Presently, about 1,600 ships are visiting Karachi port annually, and the berth occupancy is about 45%, which shows that there is enough capacity for the port to handle more cargo. Particularly, the port of Karachi retains its position as an important industrial and financial center in Pakistan, and it handles most of the country's overseas trade. The port of Karachi is in one of the world's fastest growing cities, which can be used to access international markets. It is geographically and strategically significant, given its connectivity with different regions, including Western China, Afghanistan, and Central Asian republics, such as Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan. Together, we can make SCO one of the most outstanding examples of interstate regional partnership to address shared political and security objectives, optimal mechanisms for expanding economic ties and deepening cultural and humanitarian contacts. Спасибо. Thank you.
Спасибо большое. Перед тем, как мы продолжим наш
Before we continue our panel session, I would like to thank Mr. Kazbek for your participation. I know that the regional head is about to come in flying here, and I wish you luck with the forum. Thank you for your participation. It was correctly said that the organization is not, by no means, does not pretend to be Eastern NATO. This is, first of all, development, stability, and growth of well-being of peoples in the peaceful conditions. And recently, during the Dushanbe summit, the heads of state have discussed separately the situation in Central Asia and Afghanistan, and so the world is in prosperity is what we all interested in. And I would also like to present especially the guests also from Pakistan, the province of Punjab, member of the provincial assembly, Mr. Qayyum Abbasi. And what we know about Punjab, if we talked about the biggest city of Pakistan, now the representative of the biggest by population province of Pakistan is going to present his speech, and over 50% of GDP is accounted for by this province. And the interesting are approaches from the transport and logistics side, what the infrastructure is like, what you see it as you go to the sea, because you have the immediate vicinity of the province does not have the sea, so how this is all combined. Over to you, Mr. Pratik, by night. I would give you my place so it is more comfortable for you.
Yes, you're welcome.
distinguished SEO leaders, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of immense pleasure for me to feel the passion, determination, and vision of selected participants of this dignified gathering SEO member state. It is a great honor for me to represent my country, Pakistan, here. I hope this assembly will make a significant contribution to the further development of sustainable inland transport and mobility, as well as increasing the role of transport innovations. We should be determined to stand firmly to strive for the welfare and progress of SEO member state. First of all, on behalf of my beloved country, Pakistan, I would thank the government of Russian Federation and people of Chelbynsky region for their outstanding hospitality. I'm honored to inform you that we love this new slogan, SEO without borders. We strongly believe that Alliance of SEO will open new prospects for the construction and modernization of international motorways, facilitating the expansion of the whole range of trade economic ties, increasing trade, attracting investment, and putting in place a modern and diversified system of transport routes in SEO space. We are happy to know the outstanding commitment of member states to the Shanghai spirit, which embodies mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality, mutual consultation, and respect for diversity of cultures and desire for joint development. Undoubtedly, today the world is witnessing a transition of economic power from west to east as Asia, led by China, is flying towards becoming the new economic superpower of the globe. We believe that the entire SEO community will take advantage of the diverse economic multipliers offered by China-Pakistan Economic Corridor CPEC. CPEC Gwadar Port will not only serve as a transmit and transshipment hub, but an economic center for the world in the near future. We have successfully realized that SEO nations' foreign trade turnover has reached $6.3 trillion US, with its 244,000 kilometer of proposed railway track. The SEO accounts for 70% of the world's movement of goods by train. The SEO is now becoming much more active in creating the platform for this regional connectivity. I would urge to create a SEO international cooperation secretariat focused specifically on encouraging and enabling infrastructure investment that crosses the borders of the region. We strongly believe that cooperation between SEO would help to further promote international cooperation in trade and economy, including between the SEO member states, and my beloved country, Pakistan, is ready to play its role being a responsible member of the SEO. We strongly believe that there are no shortcuts to success. We have to develop high standards on ethical, social, economic, and scientific front. Such developments do not take place spontaneously. These demand hard work, discipline, dedication, and commitment. I hope that the SEO countries are taking all measures to include these values in their decision-making process. Let's become the generation that will pledge to have universal education, regional cooperation, connectivity, healthcare, tolerance, and justice in SEO countries. Excellencies, we firmly believe that action speaks louder than words, and well done is better than well said. So please permit to make some pragmatic suggestions for this memorable gathering. Number one, we have to support close and systematic industrial cooperation to ensure equal economic growth in SEO countries. Secondly, we need to facilitate the flow of goods and make our industry and supply chain flexible and stable. In our view, transnational roads, rails, oil and gas pipelines, industrial cooperation, new joint ventures, and ideas for new businesses would be real drivers of economy recovery in coming years. Special economic zones can play a vital role in promoting regional integration if SCO member nations join hands to craft a visionary strategy. We have 9 special economic zones in Punjab alone. I am confident that these zones will spearhead the economic growth of Pakistan as well as the region. Let special economic zones be the key of our regional cooperation and future economic roadmap. Thank you very much for your attention.
Спасибо большое. Действительно.
Thank you very much. Indeed, we have common views, because in Russian also there is also a saying, more work, less talk, and in various forums people say this, and I would like to especially thank you for this proposal to have the National Secretariat for International Cooperation to be created. Although mechanisms are in place, the Business Council and Interbank Unity, which unite the governments and the close to the government circles, although the business cooperation for SME and for is probably what the forum of the regional heads set before themselves, and it's pleasant that the Pakistani partners are thinking in the same direction. As we remember, this year, 2020-2021, is the year of chairmanship of Tajikistan in the organization, and as has been said, the outcomes of the cooperation and the declaration of 20th anniversary was ratified at the Dushanbe summit. Over 20 documents were signed about 12 days ago on the 17th September. Special attention was paid to the transportation, logistics structure, modernization of the existing routes, and development of automobile and railroad transport. I would like to give the floor to the General Counsel of the Republic of Tajikistan, Ekaterinburg, Zafar Saidzada. You, as the country which was recently the chairman country, it would be good to make a summary. Thank you very much. I'm glad to greet participants of this panel session. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, in fact, indeed, 12 days ago, Dushanbe was hosting the Jubilee Summit of SCO, 20 years anniversary of this organization. Wonderful, influential result and result-bringing, result-producing organization. And our organization has become also a 9. It's like a G9 with Iran. It started as 5 in 2005-6 and 2017-8, and 2021 we have the 9th member. I believe that this is an important milestone that we've reached. The Republic of Tajikistan many times has said that cooperation as part of SCO is one of the priorities for foreign policy. And Tajikistan is not only an active participant of SCO, but is also of the founding states of SCO. And among the between 5 and SCO, there was another abbreviation, Shanghai Forum, that was a transitional one, and it appeared in July 2001 at the Dushanbe summit of Shanghai 5. So after 1 year, it received a more adequate, more accurate SCO abbreviation name. We are for the reinforcing potential of this organization. But to that end, we are ready to support any initiatives, and in this context, Tajikistan supports the idea of creating an economic belt of the Great Silk Road, as its creation opens up great opportunities for expanding trade economic cooperation between the participating parties in conjunction with various initiatives. Tajikistan management, Tajikistan administration considers it necessary to concentrate our efforts on the implementation of specific and concrete investment projects that are of common interest, in accordance with the program of multilateral trade and economic cooperation of SCO member states, primarily in order to develop interaction in the field of trade and investment. Further development of economic cooperation, including the implementation of large investment projects of regional significance, require more substantial financial support. Our country expresses the hope that the participating countries, the member states, will be able to work out an agreed position on the establishment of the Development Fund Special Account and SCO Development Bank. Tajikistan highly appreciates the existing potential of SCO member states in the transport and communication sphere. Our country has repeatedly noted the relevance of cooperation in this area, including countries that do not have access to the sea. In our opinion, the implementation of the multilateral agreement within the SCO on the creation of favorable and conducive conditions for international road transport signed in Dushanbe is no less important. We believe that one of the important issues of the strategy of increasing the level of well-being of the peoples of the SCO member states will require an early solution. It is the stable functioning of national and regional transport system. Lack of access to seaports seriously complicate the effective integration of the economies of the developing countries into the system of multilateral trade, negatively affecting many other aspects of their sustainable development. In this regard, Tajikistan expresses its hope for the support and encouragement of these efforts of such a group of countries in creating an optimal transport and transit system. Intensification of interaction between the SCO member states in the transport sphere will give an impetus to the Central Asian countries to solve the problem of direct access to seaports and transform the region into the largest crossroads hub of trans-Eurasian highways from east to west and north to south. Thanks to this, the regional GDP of the Central Asian states may at least double in 10 years. In this regard, the formation of the sub-regional transport corridor, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Oman, and India, has already begun. An important link in the SCO transport network will be in future the Uzbekistan-Kyrgyzstan-China Railway, which within the framework of the East-West project will provide access to the countries of Southern and Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and the ports of the Mediterranean Sea. In this direction, Tajikistan highly appreciates the initiative of President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping, One Belt, One Road, aimed at solving a strategic task related to the joint development of the implementation programs that contribute to sustainable economic development. The phased implementation of PRC's announced initiative can become an important stimulus for the development of South-South cooperation within this framework of this 2030 agenda. Despite the efforts made, some problems in the field of transport remain unresolved within the SCO framework. For example, to this day, in this area, problems of developing infrastructure, distribution centers, logistics centers, and ensuring docking interconnectivity of various modes of transport, modernizing existing networks of transport facilities, accelerating the processes of harmonization and unification of standards in the field of transportation remain to be solved. In order to better develop economic ties, we must pay attention to solve the problem of simplifying phytocontrol and customs formalities, and introducing information and communication technology in even mutual recognition of drivers' licenses. As part of its chairmanship, Tajikistan in 2020-21 contributed to building up interaction with observer states, the dialogue partners, enhancing practical cooperation with regional partner organizations on similar tasks, including economic sphere and transport sphere. Tajikistan saw the priority in its chairmanship in further strengthening of internal consolidation of the SCO using all available resources for mutual support. We were stressing the importance of the development and subsequent adoption within the SCO of a plan of action of priority measures aimed at mitigating and overcoming the social and economic consequences of the current corona crisis. In fact, the segment of regional ties of the SCO countries is very topical. For example, with Russia, over 11 years, we have been having this segment growing very rapidly. Tajikistan today has fruitful trade and economic cooperation with about 70 regions and subject of the Russian Federation, parts of the Russian Federation. Now, this is a determining factor in that Russia, in the turnover with Tajikistan and in terms of investment is leading, is ranking first as a rule. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. I would really like to add that the organization is on the way to its expansion. It's open. And like you said today about the start of the procedure, launching the procedure of having Iran as the full-fledged member, I would like to mention that at the last previous summit, the 3 countries received the status of dialogue partners. Egypt, the cradle of the world civilization, Qatar, the country with the highest indicators per capita in terms of GDP, and Saudi Arabia, one of the highest producers of oil, petroleum, and the organization is widening. And the second point I would like to make, because today we are talking about the logistic routes development, of course, for the Central Asian states, the access to the sea, and the safe and reliable access to the sea, and last but not least, also economically efficient is a good impetus for economic development. Today we have been listening to somebody speaking about development between cooperation between Samara and Uzbekistan. It's one of the countries that had to go through 2 countries to reach the sea, and Central Asia was also earmarked. And we will often recollect the Dushanbe summit, and it is the really center of civilization and development of this region and for infrastructure. We can speak on and on, but logistics and transport routes are connecting. They're connecting anything, countries, regions. We have round tables. We have had outbreaks sessions in agriculture just next door, and tourists have been also discussing, but unless we have roads, even if those things develop, it would be impossible to realize other things. Colleagues, we have little time left, considering that after our breakout, we have a little break. We have a little pause. So if there are questions for our panelists, please address your question in the mic, and we will try to have the speakers answer. Well, probably the speeches were so exhaustive that we do not have questions so far. But anyway, the results and outcome of the forum and our outbreak session will be made, and the speeches and the ideas and the proposals will be documented, and so that we all could feel the fruit, the results, and be saturated with the ideas and with the Shanghai spirit. Thank you very much again to our speakers, to all of you for interesting speeches. Thanks to all present here, to the audience. Thanks to Chelyabinsk for the reception. And colleagues, one more thing, let me remind you that at 14 o'clock there will be a plenary session. We'll start a plenary session in the big hall. So we invite everybody to come for the plenary session to listen to the heads of the regions and representatives of the countries, member states. Thank you.